Welcome to English Avenue YouTube, the channel to learn English the easy way. Let's start. It was early in the morning when I woke up feeling unusually weak. My body ached, my throat was sore, and a dull headache throbbed behind my temples. As I sat up in bed, I realized that my fever had worsened overnight. My body felt heavy, and even the simple act of getting out of bed required a great deal of effort. I wrapped myself in a thick blanket and slowly made my way to the bathroom. My reflection in the mirror confirmed what I already knew. I looked exhausted. My skin was pale, my eyes were red and slightly swollen, and my lips were dry. I turned on the faucet and splashed cold water on my face, hoping it would help me wake up. But the fatigue remained. I knew I couldn't go on like this, so I decided to visit the doctor. After getting dressed in warm clothes, I grabbed my bag and made my way outside. The air was crisp, and a gentle breeze brushed against my skin. The streets were busy with people heading to work and children walking to school. Despite the bustling activity around me, I felt detached from it all, focusing only on reaching the doctor's office. As I entered the clinic, the familiar scent of antiseptic filled my nostrils. The waiting area was full of people, some coughing, others looking equally exhausted. I walked to the receptionist's desk and handed her my ID. "Good morning. I have a fever and a persistent headache," I said weakly. She nodded and checked the appointment list. "We'll call you in shortly. Please have a seat." I thanked her and found an empty chair near the corner. Sitting down, I pulled my sweater tightly around me and sighed. The minutes dragged on, and the rhythmic ticking of the clock on the wall made me more aware of my discomfort. Every time someone sneezed or coughed nearby, I felt a pang of sympathy. I wasn't the only one suffering today. Finally, my name was called, and I stood up feeling a wave of relief. I followed the nurse through a hallway lined with medical posters, past doors labeled with different specialties. She led me into an examination room and instructed me to sit on the examination table. "The doctor will be with you shortly," she said, offering me a reassuring smile before leaving. Moments later, the doctor entered, a middle-aged man with a kind face. He carried a clipboard and looked at me with concern. "Good morning, Laura. What seems to be the problem?" I swallowed and replied, "I've had a fever since last night, along with a headache and a sore throat. My body feels weak, and I've been coughing." He nodded and placed the back of his hand against my forehead. "You do feel quite warm. Let's check your temperature." He took a thermometer and placed it under my tongue. As we waited for the reading, he continued asking me about my symptoms. After a few moments, the thermometer beeped, and he checked the results. "You have a fever of 101 degrees Fahrenheit, he confirmed. "Let's listen to your breathing. Please take deep breaths for me." I followed his instructions as he placed the stethoscope against my chest, and then my back. He listened intently, occasionally nodding as he moved the instrument around. "Your lungs sound clear, which is a good sign," he said. "It seems like you have a viral infection. The best course of action is to rest, drink plenty of fluids, and take fever-reducing medication. I'll also prescribe something to soothe your throat." I nodded, feeling relieved that it wasn't anything serious. "How long do you think it will take to recover?" "Most viral infections clear up in a few days. If your symptoms get worse, or if your fever doesn't go down, come back and we'll reassess." He wrote down the prescription and handed it to me. "Make sure to get enough sleep. Your body needs rest to heal." I thanked him sincerely and left the examination room. As I stepped into the hallway, I felt slightly better, knowing that I was on the path to recovery. My next stop was the pharmacy. I walked to a nearby one and handed my prescription to the pharmacist. While I waited, I browsed the shelves filled with vitamins, cough drops, and other over-the-counter medicines. A few minutes later, the pharmacist called my name and handed me my medication. "Take this 3 times a day after meals," she instructed, and drink plenty of warm fluids. I smiled. Thank you. I'll do that. With my medicine in hand, I slowly made my way home. The walk felt longer than usual, but I focused on the thought of lying down in my warm bed. When I finally arrived, I changed into my most comfortable pajamas and made a cup of herbal tea. The warmth of the tea soothed my throat, and as I took my first dose of medicine, I hoped that I would start feeling better soon. For the next few days, I followed the doctor's advice strictly. I rested as much as possible, stayed hydrated, and took my medication on time. My mother called to check on me, offering comforting words and reminding me to eat well. Friends sent messages, asking how I was doing, which made me feel loved and cared for. By the fourth day, my fever had gone down, and my headache had faded. I still felt a bit weak, but I knew I was recovering. I took short walks around my apartment, letting fresh air fill my lungs. Each day, I regained more strength, and soon, I was back to feeling like myself again. The experience reminded me of the importance of listening to my body and prioritizing my health. Sometimes, in the hustle and bustle of life, we forget how essential it is to rest and take care of ourselves. But moments like these serve as gentle reminders to slow down, recharge, and appreciate the body's ability to heal.